The great oceans of our world cover more than 70% of its surface, a vast and powerful realm that has stirred human imagination for millennia. Down in the crushing blackness of the abyss where sunlight has never reached, what wonders and what terrors might lurk? For ancient civilizations, this was not merely a question of science, but one of profound spiritual dread. They populated these dark waters with monsters, and none was more formidable, more awe-inspiring than the creature known as Leviathan. This colossal sea serpent first swims into our consciousness through the hallowed pages of ancient texts, a being woven into the very fabric of creation and chaos. In the Bible, Leviathan is presented as a creature of immense power, a primordial force of nature that only its divine creator could ever hope to tame. The book of Job offers the most vivid account, dedicating a whole chapter to describing a beast that defies all human attempts at capture or control. It is portrayed as a magnificent yet terrifying entity whose very presence embodies the untamable wildness of the sea. The text speaks of its impenetrable scales like a coat of armor, and its sheer might, which makes the most courageous of men tremble. This was not just any sea creature. It was the undisputed king of the depths, a symbol of God's most formidable and mysterious creations. Elsewhere in these ancient scriptures, the creature takes on an even more mythic dimension. In the Psalms we read of God crushing the multiple heads of Leviathan, a striking image that suggests a battle against a monstrous, polycephalic dragon. This portrayal shifts Leviathan from a mere animal, however large, into a symbol of chaos itself, a representation of the disorderly and destructive powers that threaten the stability of the world. In the book of Isaiah, its eventual demise is prophesied as a key event in the end times, when God will finally slay the dragon that is in the sea, bringing an end to its reign and restoring ultimate order. These stories, passed down through generations, did more than simply entertain. They provided a framework for understanding a world that was largely unknown and often hostile. The sea was a source of life and sustenance, but it was also a place of sudden, violent storms and unexplained disappearances. By giving a name and a form to the dangers that lurked beneath the waves, people could begin to make sense of their fears. Leviathan became the ultimate embodiment of the ocean's terrifying power, a creature as vast, as deep, and as profoundly mysterious as the waters it was said to inhabit. A constant reminder of humanity's smallness in the face of nature's grand theatre. When the ancients sought to describe Leviathan, they painted a picture of absolute terror, a collage of the most fearsome attributes imaginable. This was no ordinary serpent. The descriptions suggest a creature of almost unbelievable scale, a living island of flesh and scales moving silently through the abyssal plains. Its body was said to be covered in rows of shields, scales so tightly packed that not even air could pass between them, rendering it impervious to any man-made weapon. A sword or spear would simply shatter against its hide. This invulnerability was central to its myth, emphasizing that Leviathan was a creature beyond the realm of human conflict, a being that belonged to a higher, more primal order of existence. The horror of its form was amplified by its more fantastical features. Many accounts, drawing from the psalmist's vision, imagined it with multiple heads, each one capable of independent, monstrous action. But perhaps its most draconic and frightening trait was its ability to breathe fire. The book of Job vividly describes how flames stream from its mouth, sparks of fire shoot out, and how smoke pours from its nostrils as from a boiling pot. This image of a fire-breathing sea monster is a powerful paradox, combining the elemental forces of water and fire into one terrifying being. It transformed the creature from a simple beast into a walking cataclysm, a living volcano patrolling the ocean floor. Over the centuries, people have debated the true nature of Leviathan. Some, taking the detailed descriptions literally, have searched for a real-world counterpart. Could it have been an exaggerated account of a great whale? Or perhaps a colossal crocodile encountered by ancient mariners in unfamiliar waters? Others have suggested it might refer to a now extinct marine reptile, a relic from the age of dinosaurs that survived in the popular imagination. This literal interpretation sees Leviathan as a genuine cryptid, a mystery of the natural world waiting to be rediscovered, its legend rooted in a real, flesh-and-blood animal that once struck fear into the hearts of all who saw it. However, for many theologians and scholars, Leviathan was never meant to be understood as a literal animal. Instead, they see it as a powerful metaphor. In this view, the monster represents overwhelming forces that oppose order and goodness, whether that be a tyrannical human empire, the concept of chaos itself, or even Satan. The ultimate defeat of Leviathan by a divine power, therefore, becomes a symbolic story of the triumph of good over evil, of order over chaos. The beast is not in the sea, but within the struggles of humanity, a timeless symbol for the great adversaries we all must face in one form or another. For all our technological advancement, the deep ocean remains the last true wilderness on Earth. It is a world of immense pressure, absolute darkness, and freezing temperatures, a place less explored than the surface of the moon. Over 95% of this underwater realm is a complete mystery to us. It is in this vast, uncharted territory that the spirit of Leviathan seems to live on, not in myth, but in a series of baffling, real-life acoustic recordings. Our modern scientific instruments, our electronic ears pressed to the deep, have picked up sounds from the abyss that we simply cannot explain. Echoes of something unknown moving in the dark. In 1997, the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, recorded a series of such enigmatic sounds. One, captured on May 19th, was named Slowdown. It consisted of a long descending tone that lasted for about 7 minutes. A sound unlike anything made by known marine life or geological activity. Another, heard on March 5th of the same year, was dubbed the Train for its uncanny resemblance to the sound of a distant locomotive, a steady rhythmic chugging that rose in frequency. Scientists have speculated these could be the sounds of colossal icebergs grounding on the Antarctic seabed, but this remains an unproven theory, leaving the true source a mystery. Perhaps the most unsettling of these recordings is a sound known as Julia. Detected on March 1st, 1999, it was a loud, mournful cry that lasted for about 15 seconds. It was powerful enough to be heard by the entire Equatorial Pacific Ocean Autonomous Hydrophone Array, a network of underwater microphones spanning thousands of miles. Once again, the official hypothesis points towards a massive Antarctic iceberg running aground. But the sound has an eerie, mournful quality that feels strangely organic. It sounds less like ice and rock, and more like the call of some unimaginably vast, solitary creature crying out from the crushing pressure of the deep. These strange noises, Julia the Train, Slowdown, and others like the infamous bloop, serve as a powerful, modern connection to our ancient fear of the unknown. They are the new sea monster legends, written not in scripture but in spectrograms and audio files. While the logical scientific explanation may well be geological, our imagination is irresistibly drawn to a more primal possibility. Could these be the sounds of creatures as yet unknown to science? Living beings of a scale that dwarfs anything we have ever discovered? In the absence of definitive proof, the abyss keeps its secrets, and the question lingers. What is making those noises down there? The enduring legend of Leviathan and the modern mystery of unexplained ocean sounds stem from the same fundamental human truth. We fear what we cannot see. The ocean's surface may be familiar, but what lies beneath is a realm of profound otherness. The deeper you go, the more alien the world becomes. Sunlight fades, pressure builds to levels that would crush a human instantly, and life takes on forms that seem borrowed from nightmares or science fiction. This perpetual darkness is a blank canvas, and for centuries, our collective imagination has filled it with monsters born from our deepest anxieties about the unknown. The myth of Leviathan is more than just an ancient story. It is a perfect representation of this relationship with the deep. It gives a name and a form to the formless dread of the abyss. The creature's immense size symbolizes the overwhelming scale of the ocean itself, while its invulnerability speaks to the immense, uncontrollable power of nature. Its fiery breath and many heads are the flourishes of a storyteller trying to convey something so terrifying that normal language fails. Leviathan is the ultimate here-be dragons on the map of human consciousness, a warning marker placed over the dark, unexplored corners of our own planet. This instinct to populate the darkness with our fears has not vanished in the modern age. When scientists at NOAA detect a sound like Julia, a sound that is both powerful and unidentifiable, our minds naturally drift towards the monstrous. Even with plausible scientific theories involving icebergs, a part of our psyche remains unsatisfied. The thought of a colossal, undiscovered creature is, in many ways, more compelling than the grinding of ice. It taps into that same primal part of our brain that listened to tales of Leviathan around a fire thousands of years ago. The part that understands the world is still full of wonders and terrors beyond our comprehension. In the end, the deep ocean remains the Earth's greatest keeper of secrets. It is a humbling reminder that despite all our knowledge, we are still just scratching the surface of our own world. Whether Leviathan was a real creature, a metaphor for chaos, or a story born of fear, its spirit endures. It lives on in the deep canyons and abyssal plains where no light has ever shone, and in the strange, lonely sounds that echo from the depths. As long as the ocean remains largely unexplored, our imagination will continue to peer into its dark waters, and it will always see the shadow of a monster looking back.